We have this from the Post-Millennial. Mark Zuckerberg praises Trump as a badass after assassination attempt. Seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, subtitled, immediately donates $200 million
that's
to
the only
fortify
thing,
election.
that may be the only thing Zuckerberg said recently that I agree with.
Mark Zuckerberg is trying so hard to save Facebook, right? He's rebranding himself.
He's in trouble.
He's now saying he's sympathetic. He's saying he's not going to weigh in. You know, Facebook will continue to keep political stuff out of people's feeds because they don't like it. But I'm not going to endorse a political candidate. I really think this is an effort to try and, you know, he realizes basically a lot of Trump supporters still use Facebook.
No, Zuckerberg is in trouble. Zuckerberg realizes that he gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democratic machine.
He funded it
before, and now he realizes the Zuckerbucks are going to be finally recalled under a Donald Trump administration, and he's now trying to save face and trying to, of course, not get hit as much as a lot of people.
I think you're all wrong. I think Mark Zuckerberg started exercising, which made him conservative.
MMA. He started.
He did do on that hydrofoil skiing or like something with the American flag recently. That's right. You know, like
have
he
they
was doing
made
something
any
like that, wakeboarding or whatever it was.
He's just trying to grift into winning back conservatives. I think it's true that Trump posting that thing the other day, being like Zuckerbucks, watch out, is probably a calculation on some level. But you know, he is struggling. I mean, to be fair, there were a lot of conservatives who were like, we should ban TikTok, and you know who benefits if we ban TikTok? Facebook and Meta.
I actually think, in all seriousness, Luke is correct. Mark Zuckerberg made a huge bet against Donald Trump. Trump is extremely offended by it. Trump is on track to be president. Zuckerberg knows it, and Trump is going to drop the hammer on Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook has a lot of infrastructure with WhatsApp, Instagram, and of course Facebook, but also a lot of other side projects that they're working on, especially when it comes to VR, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. And truly, I do believe the next president will be deciding the future of the digital world, especially when it comes to AI developments. So Mark Zuckerberg understands that he's in absolute trouble.
And you know that AI is going to basically coalesce under 3 or 4 companies that have, like, you know, and he wants Facebook to be at the front of the line for that.
Do we know if he posted this on Threads, or how did he say it?
He was in an interview.
Okay.
I keep getting told that the monthly actives on Threads are enormous. I don't believe it.
No one believes that. No, there's no way.
Am I wrong? Wasn't there just a headline? There's like 200 million active users.
All of Meta is struggling, and I think there are probably a lot of reasons for Mark Zuckerberg to pivot right now.
Zuckerberg has a lot of skeletons in his closet. Sorry, but he also spies on people. He also fortified the election. He also manipulated the algorithms. He committed a lot of illegal actions that he soon could be held accountable for. Sorry, Hannah, I cut you off. Go ahead.
My name's Hannah Claire. I can't believe you can't get that after 3 years. You should be concerned. No, I mean, I really think that Mark Zuckerberg is attempting to save himself for a variety of reasons. I do think that Meta as a business really needed conservative support to get rid of TikTok to continue to be viable, because they're just hemorrhaging engagement. And I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg is worried about the legal consequences of his influence in the election. The part is that, you know, every major social media company in America has colluded with the federal government, especially under Biden. And so, you know, there is a level of like, they are all realizing that there is a changing of the guards that's imminent. And it is fascinating to watch him, because the other part is some of this, he could be saying, oh, Trump was a badass and it was so cool and whatever else. But he didn't have to get a new haircut and wear a chain and change his style, right? Like, he is really trying to shift away from the image he had in the past, because he was so weird and
he
not
looks
cool.
so different from his like congressional hearings where he looked like a literal robot.
Yeah.
There's also to add on to what you're saying, Hannah Claire, is
Thank you
also
so
Zuck has some problems with photographs on both of his platforms that has basically gone kind of unpunished, where he's got a major whatever the acronym is. I don't want to get Tim in trouble, but photos of people that shouldn't be on there, and it runs rampant on Instagram and it runs rampant on Facebook. And he's pretty much, unless I'm wrong, he's pretty much avoided any kind of major backlash for that.
What I think is interesting about his appearance is that when those photos came out of him looking like an android with pale skin and short hair, he had a visceral reaction to that, which makes me wonder if there's something internal to humans where they can recognize like a masculine failure. So for what reason would he, the billionaire and one of the richest men in the world, have to grow his hair out, grow a beard, get a tan, start exercising.
Start training jujitsu.
Well,
MMA.
regardless of what other people think, he individually felt something was wrong with him.
Yeah, and who do we contrast him to? Elon Musk, who got hair plugs as soon as he could. I mean, it's fascinating. We all want to look young, right? We all want to look young and healthy and project fixed, but also Silicon Valley now has this. You kind of have to be cool. I mean, Elon Musk is setting the bar to be an influential person in a way that Mark Zuckerberg just never captured. I mean,
Elon Musk as a brand is infinitely preferable to Mark Zuckerberg as a brand.
And Mark Zuckerberg as a brand was very much linked, I think, with the Democratic Party and trying to be like, well, I'm not cool, but look, I'm active in a way that, I think of like beta male woke guys are like, but I might not be good looking or strong. They both suck compared
to Tom. Tom's my guy.
Tom, are you still one? Is he still one of your top 6?
I never took him out. Sweet. Tom's the original OG cool guy.
Yeah.
He made a site, he sold it, got paid, and retired.
Yeah. He's a
photographer now.
Yeah, he just goes and does whatever he wants.
He's a winner. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I've got criticisms for him. He jumped ship. I mean, nobody knew it was going to happen to these platforms, so he just sold. But then Fox immediately I think he sold to Murdoch, right?
Yeah, and they tanked it.
Yeah, it got sour. It was loaded with ads. It became sluggish, and you started getting spam from everybody, and it was like, we can't use this platform anymore. The spam is really what killed MySpace.
Yeah.
I think
used to, that inbox, I used to like crazy. Like, I was like, people... I used the network, and like when I was in a band back then, we'd have our band page where you could set like your 3 or 4 songs on there, and then like I'd use it to network like crazy, and then it's like LinkedIn now. LinkedIn's suffering that same fate.
Shiny Toy Guns, famously, it's a band for those that aren't familiar. They started a profile. I think this was before there were even bands on MySpace, and started messaging people saying, "Hey, check out our band." That was fine, but then it worked, and everyone started doing it, and all of a sudden your inbox was full of garbage, and you couldn't even see your friends' messages anymore.
Yep.
Facebook said, we don't have none of that, and that's why I switched. Yep. Me and my friends were like, I can't even get your message anymore, dude. And they were like, well, switch to Facebook. They have like a chat feature, and I was like, okay.
Yep, that was about right.
I think social media in Silicon Valley must be such a weird world, right? Because you're always trying to you'll at one moment be sort of the golden kid. You create this thing, everyone loves it, Facebook blows up, but inevitably whatever's popular right now, especially in terms of tech, will fade away. I mean, you said this once. A family member had asked him, "How long are you going to do this?" And he's like, "Well, potentially podcasting could be forever. Not around forever." Yeah. And I think the desire to stay relevant is innate both to the human condition but also to technology. And I wonder how much of Mark Zuckerberg's previous dialogue he'll change in order to try and stay in the minds of both consumers and also in the favor of whatever politicians are taking over.
He has a PR team. He has a marketing team. They're telling him, okay, you got to make these steps. You got to look like this. You got to do this.
Do you remember?
He's in trouble because if I'm Donald Trump, I'm checking the receipts and I'm like, how much did you spend to fortify this election? Oh, you spied on how many J6ers? What kind of psychological studies? Oh, you twisted the algorithm here, or you worked with the feds here. He's taking those notes. And Facebook is in major trouble, especially if Donald Trump becomes the next president of the United States.
Luke, do you remember those series of pictures that Zuckerberg posted years ago where he was like on a tractor or gutting fish or doing like all these like like look at me, I'm human type stuff?
When he was like grilling in his backyard.
Like smoking some meat, sweet baby Ray's.
Yeah,
like that kind of stuff.
Weird, yeah.
But but beyond that.
He loves smoking that meat.
Do any of you disagree with the premise that getting shot and then standing up and shaking your fist in front of the American flag is badass? Do you agree with that?
No, I think it is. And I actually think that, like, I watched this random Irish influencer do a reel, and she, nothing to do with politics at all in her regular life, but she was like, look, I normally hate Trump. But even she's got a very thick Irish accent. She's saying like, but when I can't.
Do it, Hannah.
Hannah
Claire, do it.
Are you that low IQ? You can't get my name right? I'm very worried about you.
I got you, Hannah.
The thing is, she was saying, even I was like, yeah, let's go America. And she has nothing to do with this country, and she's openly hates Donald Trump. I mean, I think that what really was an iconic moment, which is why people like Joy Reid have such a visceral, like, no, you can't like this reaction.
I like it as her TDS gets more. I liked how she adopted his look. Like, she hated him so much, she dyed her hair blonde, and then now, the hate is making her uglier. And I think that's
all she thinks about, I guess.
Yeah, it like eats these people up. They're like Gollum. They go from like this thing, they become obsessed with the Ring or Trump, and it ruins their life. I mean, look at one woman on The View and tell me that woman is happy. they all hate their life. There's no way. They might go home to their mansions. They all look miserable all the time. Bill Maher looks miserable.
They're all drugged up.
And they're all they got to get baked to get through the day. Every day.
Yeah. On a whole bunch of antidepressants, on a whole bunch of like pharmaceuticals, and a bunch of illegal stuff. You look at the upper echelons of society, there's a huge substance abuse problem that no one really wants to talk about.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.